Hi everybody, so post-production Jenna here, and so I just wanted to say that while I was sitting here editing this video, I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that my animals are very lovey-dovey whenever I am not on camera, and the cats generally try to stay away from the dogs. So when I film this, I actually kind of shut everybody in the room with me. So that's one reason why you don't see them very much. But there are photos in here. There are a few videos. That whole video did not necessarily go as planned. So let's get into it, and I hope you guys like it. And this is Meet My Animals. So this is Taco, one of my 3 cats, and he is a very dirty old man. Taco. So I got Taco on June 30th, 2019. When I got Taco, he was 6 years old. So now, by my calculations, Taco is 12 years old. So Taco came from an animal shelter in Cincinnati, Ohio, specifically a cat shelter. And he was a cat. He had been there the entire 6 years he was alive. He, by what they told me, had had a couple of fosters that tried to keep him there, and they said that he just didn't work out. One of the reasons was he didn't get along with dogs, which I have dogs, and I've had dogs for a while, and he's gotten along with them perfectly fine. He actually is the only cat that I have right now that will play with Ivan. So I haven't had any issues with him playing or trying to claw cats. Buggy? I haven't had any issues with him trying to claw my dog's eyes out. No, nothing. It's been a very happy 6 years? I have almost all of them in here with me, so bear with me. This video is going to be hectic. It's been a really good 6 years with Taco. He had a lump in his throat at one point that I had to have taken out, and hasn't grown back, so thankfully that's a good thing. But yeah, he's my dirty old man is what I call him. Because one of his favorite things is he will find any dirt pile I have just created in the house by sweeping, and he will lay in it, and he will ruin that pile to where I have to sweep it all up again. And then he makes sure that he stays nice and dirty. So that is pretty much Taco. He scares some of our friends sometimes because he has the giant bat fangs. So a lot of them call him Bat Kitty. He is not Bat Kitty to me. I have previously had a cat that actually had the little bat shape on his back. Looked a lot like Tato. And so that is Bat Kitty for me. Taco is just my dirty old man or my little panther. Usually he gets called Dirty Old Man. That's Taco's. Every one of my animals do have the nicknames, and so Taco's nickname is Dirty Old Man. So this is Buggy, which is his nickname, but that's what he mainly gets called. He does not like people. Sorry, I knew this video was going to be a little bit hectic. So that was Buggy. Buggy is called Buggy because he will bug you for 5 seconds wanting pet, and then he wants down, and he wants nothing more to do with you until after he's had a bunch of nap time. So Buggy his actual name is Creature. Yes, I named him after Harry Potter, and he does act like a creature most of the time. He doesn't get into trouble as much as he used to when he was little. He's a little bit older now, and he's kind of calmed down a bit. Ivan! I'm so sorry. Ivan's trying to mess with the cats. So Buggy was only a few weeks old when I got him. I did not get him from an animal shelter or anything. I actually was visiting my mom. I had moved about an hour away from my mom, and I went back, and I was visiting her, and while I was visiting her, I needed to go to Walmart. Drove to Walmart, and I didn't run him over, but I went over top of him. And so got out of the truck. I was like, something orange and fluffy was in the road. I got out of the truck. Somebody else got out of their car, and we stopped traffic, picked him up, insert photo. He was the tiniest little thing, and he was only just weeks old. Like, he should not have been out on his own. He should have been with his mom, and he was so tiny. I think he was the runt and got left behind. But I picked him up. I asked the lady, I was like, are you able to take him home? Because at this point, I already had a dog. I had Taco. I was like, I don't really think I can, you know, the guy I was with at the time was like, no more animals. So I was like, can you take him? She was like, no, I already have, too many animals. I was like, well, okay. And at that point in time, the cat shelter that used to be in close to my hometown had shut down. So I remembered that, but I called my mom and I was like, there are no more cat shelters here, are there? She was like, nope, why? I was like, well, I kind of went over a kitty or a kitten. I was like, I kind of drove over him. I was like, I didn't run him over. I was like, but I drove over him, and he is a baby, and he needs to go somewhere. I was like, so I guess I'm taking him home. So I took him home, needless to say. He grew up, a little bit after a few days where I got him nourished back to health. He wasn't, sickly or anything anymore. His true colors kind of came out, and so that's where the name Creature came from. He doesn't like people. He's not like Taco or Tato where he will come out and say hi to you. He refuses to be around other people he doesn't know, really. So that is Buggy, and I forgot, Buggy is now 6 years old. I've had him since April 30th, 2020. And he was only a few weeks old then, so he's roughly about 6 years old. All of my cats are hating me right now. So this, come here, can the camera see you? There we go. So this is Tato. That is his nickname, is Tato. His full name is Potato. And that is because Brian caught him eating a raw potato when he was a little baby kitten. Brian is actually the one that got Tato before he and I ever met. So we figured up around the amount of time he's had him, he is about 7 years old. So I think Buggy is the youngest cat and the second youngest pet of all of them that I have. But yeah, Tato is, sorry, he's over there. Tato is short for potato, and he is a mama's boy, even though he was Brian's first. And it's kind of, we switched cats, so Taco is now Brian's, and Tato is pretty much mine, and then Buggy's kind of neutral. He'll put up with either one of us, but definitely if he has his choice of who he's going to be around, he's going to pick me. Because most of them other than Taco do. But yeah, Tato is about 7 years old. So he came into my life somewhere around the point of January 22nd, 2022. That's roughly about 2 months after Brian and I met, and then we moved in together. So that's kind of like the gotcha day for me is then. The next one that we have, so Zelda is not actually here. Zelda is still back in Ohio. I have got to get a trailer, which has been extremely difficult, but I've got to get a trailer and get her back here. Zelda was already 6 years old when I bought her, and I bought her on December 21st, 2017. So with her being 6 then, that would put her at 14 now. And she is a mama's girl. Brian has ridden her, but I think he's the only other person I've ever had on her. No one else has ever ridden her. But she's a very good girl. She is a thoroughbred quarter horse mix. Her coat color is, we've determined, a dappled dun. And I originally trained her for mounted police. I stopped being a police officer. So after that, she kind of sat. I needed some surgeries. I had health problems. So then finally, just a couple of years ago, I really got to start putting miles on her, took her places, and she's my best friend. I think she's loved me the most out of any of the horses I've ever had or been around. and she's a really good girl. So she really does not have a nickname. I never did come up with really a nickname for her. She's just Zelda. So I guess I lied. She is the only animal that I have that does not have a nickname. So next, you guys have already seen him. This is Ivan. Hi, thank you. You're a mama's boy, I know. So Ivan, actually, we just got last year. He was born in June, and then we got him and brought him home September 22nd. So right now he's sitting at 10 months old, almost 10. You're almost 10, aren't you? You're almost 10. Yeah, I know. Why are you going limp, Noodle? Thank you. He has a little underbite. I don't know if you guys can really see it. I can insert a picture of his little underbite. He has an underbite, which I have personally never had any animal with an underbite. I think it's absolutely adorable. As far as I know, it's not causing him any... He's trying to play with Taco now. As far as I know, it's not causing him any issues. He eats, drinks perfectly fine, runs around, doesn't seem like it's causing any pain. So I think that's just something he was born with, kind of like people have underbites. So that, and with that, his nickname is mainly Eyebrows, because he does have the two little lighter tan spots above his eyes. So we call those his Eyebrows. So this is Miss Annie. Good girl. Say my nickname is Annie Banani. Don't ask me why I call her Annie Banani. But her nickname... Okay, you're good. You can go back and lay down again. Or get in my way. That's fine. So, Annie, as I said, Annie's nickname is Annie Banani. I have absolutely no reason why I called her Annie Banani. That's just what I came up with. So, Annie is roughly about 9 years old. We estimated her at 6 years old when I adopted her, and I adopted her June 19th, 2022. So that is her gotcha day. That's the day that we say is her birthday. She is Tato. She is roughly about 9 years old, and we think she is like a boxer pit / hound mix. Not quite sure. I haven't had her like DNA tested or anything. She's a mutt. Same with Trixie. Trixie's a mutt. So Annie came to me, and I adopted her through my job. I worked for the Department of Corrections in Ohio, and they have a dog program where this organization that takes in animals, surrenders, rescues, whatever, they will take Tato. Sir. Sorry. Tato's gonna be in this with me now. So, this organization is called DASH. They will take in stray animals or, rescues, whatever. And they send them to their dog program in the prisons. And it's offenders who have done extremely well. They do not put these dogs in harm's way at all. And those guys defend these dogs with their lives. So, she was in that program at the prison that I was working at, and we decided that we wanted another dog. I liked her right off the bat, asked Brian about it, and he was like, sure. So we brought her home. Tato, pick somewhere and go there, and then stay there. You're gonna step on my keyboard, and then we're gonna have problems. Get out of my water. I'm glad you guys can't see him off of camera because he is just having a heyday being on my desk. Come here. No. Tato. Will you all quit? I'm never gonna get this video done. Come on. Up here where the camera can see you. There you go. See, the camera can see you now. So this is my old woman. This is Trixie. She was roughly 4 years old when I got her. She came from the same doggy program at the prison that I worked at. She is actually the first one that I got. And the way that I got her was, it didn't want another dog. So we'll start off with this story with, I had just had to put a dog down. I had rescued him, and he had started getting aggressive, not only towards other people, but also to me. And it just wasn't working out. It wasn't benefiting him, so I did end up having to put him down. Trixie came up. I had a rolly chair similar to the one I'm sitting in now. And she came up. She was sitting behind me, kind of like she is now, because there she is. She's right there. Little Miss Dobby. Dobby? So, little Miss Dobby over here was sitting behind me. You were sitting behind me. I didn't know about it. And I ran over her foot. I didn't mean to. And did I feel bad? Yes, but at the same time, I had just had to put a dog down. I was not looking for another dog. I did not want another dog. And so I really wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was just like, well, don't sit behind me then, I guess, and you won't get your foot run over. Well, the dogs were in our unit for another several months after that. And she started not leaving me alone. Like, I couldn't walk the range without her. I couldn't do anything without her following me. And she would sit at her handler's door and cry constantly. I'm sorry, I have hairs all over the place. She would sit at the handler's door constantly crying, wanting to be around me. And needless to say, it took me probably about 2 weeks of her convincing me by doing that. And I finally said screw it and took her home. So she was the first dog out of the dog program that I adopted, and then came Annie. Like I said earlier, we guesstimated that she was roughly about 4 years old, which I think is correct. She is starting to gray out on her face quite a bit. So I got her June 29th, 2020. I brought her home that night, and she's been with me ever since. So that makes her roughly about 9 years old now. And she's mommy's buddy. Like, she follows me everywhere, just like actually all the dogs will follow me anywhere I go. But she's definitely the one that loves me the most. And she was the second dog that I had gotten after being out on my own. So Zelda's Gotcha Day was December 21st, 2017. Here is her Gotcha Day photo. And she is now 14 years old, and here is the most up-to-date photo that I have of her. I got Taco on June 30th, 2019. Here is his first photo, which makes him now 12 years old. Here is the most current photo. Buggy was April 30th, 2020. Here is his first photo. He is now 6 years old, and here is his last photo. Trixie was June 29th, 2020. Here is her first photo. Here is Trixie's newest photo, and she is now 9 years old. Tato, my Gotcha Day is January 22nd, 2022. Here is the first photo I have of Tato. He is 7 years old, and here is the most current photo. Annie, I got on June 19th, 2022. Here is her first photo, and she is now 9 years old, so here is her latest photo. And Ivan, I got September 22nd, 2024. Here is his first photo, and he is now 10 months roughly old, and here is his last photo.